Okay, let's go. Yeah, today I'll start working on another game. I mean, I'm not starting, I just keep working on this game. This game has already a certain progress, and I'm about to work on the fighting system. Just a moment. Okay, right back. Hello, 2XP. Welcome. How you doing? Glutentag. Yeah, here's where I keep working. This fighting scene, there will be a way how the fight should be. It's like healing, passive damage player, passive damage enemy, active damage from the cards from the player to the enemy, and then an attack from the enemy to the player. And then repeat for each round. This one, this one, this one. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? This is another game which I'm working with my brother at the moment. It's like a card battle backpack game. Backpack card battle game. The idea behind this one is like you buy stuff in the shop. All of these are just placeholders, most of that, except the items, they're already created. But you can pack your bag with certain items. Then you got stats, and then you can go fighting against enemies, which is not working yet because the um yeah, because this fighting thing is the only thing what is not working yet in the game. You always can choose between 1 to 4 doors, which you will enter next. So here you have 3 doors, and all three are fights. And yeah, and this one are event doors. When you go into them, then there will be a little story. You say yes, you take the risk, and then you see, okay, I got a curse. So I see here, I do not know why I got this item. There, it seems to be a bug, but I got life, but I also get a curse. So when I check my... Okay, this with the curse, it's not working yet properly. Yes, curse, it's not working. But this is somehow the kind of game. You have events and fights, and you have to go as far as possible through this game. As many rounds as possible. There's no cap at the top. So let's see. Yeah, the notes here are basically in German, but I can always tell what it is. Yeah, here it's the passive damage, what is where I stopped lately. This is the only thing what is working at the moment. Um, and this is something what I want to go further. The next thing what I need to do is that when the main card and the side card of the game, of the first round was played by the player, and this will make damage or increases the player's attributes. So, for example, when we start a game, you can put a seed. When you put a seed, everything, the whole game will be always the same. Um, so the items in the first will be always this, and also the cards you draw will be always this when you click in this same way. So when you put a card here, you can also put like secondary cards here. They are most likely cards, they'll support this card. So they are like this one gives the selected card a second person chance to inflict a random debuff on the enemy. And this one is activates all passive damage effects. So basically this one will make the player makes damage with all passive damage he had. But at the moment you don't have any passive damage, so this shouldn't do any damage. So I now need to find a way to get the cards into the battle fight. Like that they have somehow there should be somehow a way how I can make the different kind of cards main card and this one. So that these cards will be somehow the rounds. This one will be the first round. So this one will be played to make damage to this one, and this one will be played that the enemies attack. So the player will actually do not do an attack. The player will actually do just a block. But would it be possible for the player to do this? Because this doesn't make sense. The player shouldn't be able to put active secondary cards on defense main cards. This shouldn't be possible. This one should be just possible here, and this one is a defense card. So I go to card resource and check what we have there. We have the cost descriptions, main card, secondary, defensive, defensive, defense, offensive, and passive. I think I already set them. So here we have the cards, and I think everything is already set it, and that's what it should be. So secondary card can be put just here in battle scene. Can drop active card, main card. I think can drop I call here. Okay. And if drop parent is active card. If drop parent is hand cards, okay. If it's active card and can drop active cards, then we will do it. Otherwise, it will not work. So pass can draw passive cards, drag card, dot resource type, and global selected temp active placed cards. Slot is not null. But we also need to check somehow here. Not that it's just not null. That from this card. So we just got it. This one. Variable. Active slot card equals selected character temp active place cards current slot index. Cannot assign a value of type card resource to very active slot card. Oops. Card resource. Okay. And then we'll just do it here. If it's not null, and this one dot category equals dragged card dot resource dot type dot category. So now it should be just possible to put active cards, passive cards only when the active card has the same type, the same. So this one is a secondary card, or we don't see if this one is an active card, secondary card. The selected card use manager attack damage for its attack. Unused energy points heal you for 3% of your life. This one should be. So we won't be able to put this one here, but we are able to put this one here. Because this one is for an attack and this one is not an attack. So we can increase it by this one because this one is also a defensive card. But we cannot put this one here. This one is gives the selected card a 20% chance to inflict a random debuff on the enemy. This one should also not be able to be here. Okay, that's interesting. I never had this. A variable current slot index equals current slot dot get index. Okay, this is a bug which should not happen. This is something what we need to fix somehow. So start game, this one, this one. Okay, this happens when I go here. Like out of the window. Call function get in a base of insta. Okay, this one has to be actually behind this if statement. Because here we can't do anything. So now this error shouldn't happen anymore because we just go out when there's no parent and we return it to be an unsuccessful drop. So when we do it again, it will just be an unsuccessful drop. Okay, so this is working properly now. And now we just want to do the active attack rounds or the passive attack rounds. There are a lot of things what we have to check. There will be a point which character is faster, the enemy or the player. This is something what we need to check first. So we have like priority levels for each character at the beginning of the fight. And up to this, the first character will attack and the second character will attack later. The only problem what I see right now is that we have defensive cards and active cards. Because, I mean, when I play a defensive card, and I'm the fastest, then my defensive card will block the enemy's next attack. But when I'm the slowest, then the attacker will attack me with his full power, and then I will activate my defensive stats, which probably will halve the damage of the enemy. But it doesn't make sense anymore because, yeah, we already take the damage. Hmm. Um, so when we play a defensive card, we should have a higher priority as we want to defend ourselves from the enemy's attack in this round. Save game can't save empty resource to pass save player save dot trace. Okay, this I have to check later. Okay, so we have to check first if we play a defensive card that we can dodge the damage of the enemy. And when you play a defensive card, you have always the highest priority. So defensive cards always increase the the player's priority to be the first played card, so that the attack will happen later. And when he's playing an attack card, but at the moment the enemy doesn't has a defensive way to block any the player's things. So I'm thinking right now, if the enemy always chooses a defensive way or an active way before this round starts, like that they prefer to block more damage or if they prefer to attack the player, or if they always attack the player, as the enemy always attack and block with the amount of stats they had. Just the player has the way to choose to block even more with the cards. I think this is the only way how I would imagine to do it. Would be the thing what makes the most sense for me, in my opinion. Okay, I just write down the plan for one round. We have check for defensive active card. defensive cards has a higher prior to be like has a higher prior to be played first. Yeah, write it here. Make it better. Has not a higher prior, maybe the highest. Offense cards will check if the player or the enemy has higher priority. Player has higher prior will attack enemy first. Enemy attacks the player second. And that's basically the round. Player attack, enemy attacks. Check, player attacks. Check if the player has enough life points. Then the enemy attacks, and then we check if the player has enough life points. Check if enemy still has life points. Yes. Else player wins. So this is somehow the way for an offensive played card. So here it will be more effect of defensive card will be added to player stats. Enemy attacks player. And then we will check if player has life points. If yes, player wins. Player not wins. Go to next round. or go to um, draw cards state. Else player loses. And you also, by the way, I really liked your PDF feedback. I made adjustments for most of the feedback now, not just from you, but also the others who tested. That's great. Really glad that it helped you. Did you found the source of the problem with the fishes who will not just go to the sailing and just stuck at the crystal ball? And if you need the test again, I will glad I will glad to help you. I'll be glad to help you. Yeah, it was a collision issue. Oh, okay. That's great. Hello, Kelso. Long time not seen. How you doing? Should be okay, no? That's great. Was I the only one who was really great? Um, was I the only one who was not complaining, but like complaining about the sizes of the collisions to click the runes? Because I mean, when you play a game, you always start to do shortcuts, and when you want to, no, okay, because when you want to be fast, you just head it up to the book to cast the next round. Kelso, today I'm doing another game. Maybe I'll show you soon. And that when you try to put the rune into the rune slot from the place which is the most nearest to the book, then it always places the rune back to the shelf rather than into the rune box, into the rune slot. And this was sometimes frustrating. I mean, not frustrating, but like, Oh, and there was another bug. I didn't mention it in my feedback. When I was after the round, the fish is spawning in the middle of the field. When you run too fast to the middle of the field, then sometimes you cannot click the fish until you just go back from the area and go onto the area again. I hope you understand what I mean. That is why you need other people to test because you do not think about it. Yes, because whenever you're testing your game yourself, you already got used to it after the time. Did you already got this feedback too for the feedback about the fish? I'll try to recreate it. Maybe I can recreate it right now. Just a moment. I'll be right back. Maybe I can recreate it for you. I did not hear that before. Wait, I'll open up. Fishing for numbers. See, yesterday when I tried to start the game the first time, it took very long to launch. But today it seems to be very fine. Everything seems to be fine. And that you put the delete button at the very bottom, that's a bit evil. Because I almost click it and delete the whole progress yesterday. Yeah, it will be removed. Okay. I hope you still have the chance to say yes or no. I never clicked it, but it is for testing. Yeah, I can understand it. I would probably have a button like this also. Well, so maybe that wasn't a bug what I see. Maybe it was just that I was not close enough. I almost got every Steam achievement. How's your game growth? My game growth, I didn't work on it for a while. Like 3 weeks now because I had a lot of things to do. And right now I'm working on another game which I work with my brother. It's this one. It's like a backpack card battle game. I don't completely don't work in GameDev anymore. I just work on another project at the moment. Back card combat pack game. And yeah, this is kind of what I'm doing today. It's just like the fighting scene where you fighting with the cards, and the fighting system is that what I just try to implement right now. That what we planned before. In this game, you have the first you choose a character. Here we have just a mage right now, and every character will have their own item sets in the shop. So up to the item type, there will be different items in the shop, and then you can pack your backpack similar to backpack battles. So you can put a few things here. Can buy items, buy cards, building your deck and building your backpack, and then you have different kind of stats. Then you can choose from 1 to 4 doors. One of this, if you want to join an event or a fight, this one is a fight because it's a round door. Or if you want to join an event, then you will have a text here. In the snow, you find a hot rune, half buried. And then you check if you want to take the risk to got this rune for free, or it could have something bad happen to you. So, for example, this one you got plus 10, like a frozen state, but you not got the rune. But at some point you still got it because there's a bug, but this one shouldn't got it. Your mic is crazy low. Okay, what can I do? I can just put a filter. I'm not sure if this makes it better. Oh yeah, but it's too low. Should be way higher. Just a moment. I try to. That's okay now. Wait. Meeting. Okay, have fun meet at the meeting. 2 XP. I try to put the gain up a bit. I hope it's better now. Okay, I hope it's okay now. And I try to just speak directly to the microphone and don't turn my head. Okay, so this is kind of the way how how a round works for a fight. Let me see again. It's kind of this one, just a bit more detailed. So first, the player will heal himself when he have heal stats. Then he'll got passive damage. Then the enemy will got passive damage from passive stats. But I would also like to have the opportunity for the player to lose the passive status. For example, that when he is burning, that for a lucky chance, he could remove this burning effect by just randomly without healing. And also the enemy could also do it. But this is something what I will put later. Right now I want that the card's working. So first I'll check if the active or the passive card, if the main card is an offensive or defensive card. And if it's defensive, it will have a higher priority. But right now I have to check if the priority is in the character resource a value. But right now it's not. So maybe I can add it to the card resource directly. But I have 3 type of different cards. I have offensive, defensive. No, just offensive and defensive. I just thought I also have passive. But then it looks like I have passive. And some cards has a requirement. Deals double damage if the enemy has less than 30% of life. Huh. Is it called enemy life? Actually, it should be called life points. This way. But we have to be sure that these are the enemy life points. Okay, it seems to be okay, but it's the only card with requirements at the moment, which makes the programming only exclusive to this card. At least this this part. thinking about the priority system at the moment for active cards, how we will make the active cards will be compared to the enemy directly. And if we have to put the priority on the enemy, or we have to put the priority on the cards, but then we will not on the player directly or on the cards. When we put it on the cards, we are not able to put it on the enemy resource. How we could make it comparable. Just thinking about a way how to do it. So we need to compare this card with this enemy, but the enemy is not playing cards. The enemy is fighting against us just with an attack and a defense value. So he will always have an attack on the player, no matter what the player is doing. Players never playing cards. I just discuss right now with someone about the game. So that's why I'm not talking sometimes. I hope it's fine. What can I do? I mean, card resources are not directly comparable with enemy resources because they have different type of values and variables. But each one, like the player and also the enemy, they always have the value which is called agility, which refers that this player is always faster than the enemy, or the enemy is always faster than the player. It's up to who has the higher value of this one. But if we use this one, then the player can be sure that he is faster every round. But there are also cards which will increase agility for a moment to be faster than the enemy. So, but when he is by, at the standard move, always faster than the enemy, then it doesn't make sense to use this card. So what can I do? The system is not the way how we wanted to invent it to the game is not 100%. I mean, we didn't think until the last step, just halfway through. What can I do? I want that the player sometimes has priority and sometimes the enemy. That the point that, for example, the player has a value of 1 and the enemy has a value of like 7. Wait, I see my microphone is way too low. I hope this way is better. I hope it make it better a bit. But it's too low. Um, Test. Is it better now? I hope now it's better. Laughing Umbra. Welcome. If you hear like a noise in the background, just tell me. I'm not sure right now, but it could be that you hear just like my PC or a fan or something. How are you doing? Okay, let's see. When we are in a fight, we play a card. And a support card to the card. This one, for example, this one, and we click this one now. And when we want that the first round is happening, but we don't want to choose yet if the player has priority to attack the enemy first or the other way around. Good. How are you doing, boss? I'm also doing very, very well. Thank you very much for asking. Let's see what we have here. Okay, the idea is not bad. To give the enemy different kind of attacks, like moves, for example, similar to the system of Pokemon. So the enemy has, for example, like 4 different attacks, like a fast attack, a slow attack, a defense, like a defense, shield improvement or something, and he will choose one of these. And then this attack, what the enemy chooses, will fighting with the cards the player was choosing. So this one will be an attack, attacks the enemy with the basic attack value and deals 200% damage to the enemy. Let's say this card combination has a priority of like 3, but the attack the enemy was choosing has a priority of 6. That means that as this priority is lower, this one will be played first. Then this attack from this one. I think this is the proper way to replace that the enemies, that the player has cards, so he can just like mixing up the system how he want to attack the enemy. And also, wait, I think my microphone is sometimes now too loud. As it's always in the yellow area. Maybe this one is better, because sometimes I was in the red area. I think the sound was not good at some points. And sometimes the player has the opportunity to, the enemy has the opportunity to just increase the stats, which will always will change the way how a fight will be. I think this is good. But then I have to give the spider a few attacks right now that we can find a way, and also changes the stats. I just open up the Excel table, which we use for work on the game. Just a moment. This is somehow the This is somehow the card list. Okay, and here we need to give them... Okay, they already have priorities, actually. But defensive cards always should have a very high priority, so the defensive card priority should be always 0. Also them. We have one passive card. An offensive card, it has to up to... how I choose the priority. So let's see what they do. Let's go one by one. And we just choose the defensive cards. Actually, no. Sorry, the offensive cards. So we have this one, and we also want to see what they're doing. So let's see what they're doing. Priority. Offensive is 0. This should have a very low priority. So I think the low priority will be a higher number. So let's say this one is 5. Because this is just a basic attack, which will not have that much impact to a priority level. This one should have slightly, maybe also, because you have 3 attacks, which will be higher than a basic attack. And this one has a, as it says, a simple attack with higher priority, as this one is a fast attack or a quick attack. And here we just set it to like 3 or maybe 2. This one, okay, give the player the opportunity to give the enemy as much passive debuffs as possible. Okay, let's see. Priority, this one. This one is passive damage. Let's say this has also lower. This one makes an attack with half. But then we set the priority very high. If the enemy is under 30% life, the player makes double damage. So here we make the priority also like as high as a normal attack. Maybe even a bit lower. Maybe I set it too high. Let's see. Maybe I'll adjust it later. This one makes triple the damage, but also the player will got the same damage like for example, he makes 300 damage to the enemy. The player will got 100 damage. As this one is let's say this has a medium priority. So let's say 4. 4 is always medium. Everything above 4 is a very low priority, and everything below 4 is a very high priority. But then I was thinking about how is it about to with secondary cards, will they just add up? Or I think the best way is that you always have like an average. So for example, when this one, Gather Rage, let's say this secondary card has a priority of 0, and he is playing this with, for example, basic attack, which makes the most sense because it has a high priority. And he plays it with Gather Rage, which has 0 at the moment. So we just add them together. We have 5 divided by 2, and we round the normal way, so we have 3. So this one will have a priority of 3 rather than 5 like before. So the priority is higher. That could lead that the player, this will increase the chance of the player to attack the enemy faster than the enemy itself. I think this is the best way to do it. Yeah. So let's see what else we have. Magic attack nuts uses the magic attack damage for the next attack. I would say it has the same priority as, for example, basic attack has, because it just uses another source for make damage. Ignores 50% of the enemy's defense. I think maybe medium. This one should be higher. Say 5. I think there will be a range between 1 until 7. So 4 is always medium. 1 is the fastest attack. The enemy will got 250% damage. And, oh, this one should has a priority. Because the player will make more damage, but it costs him armor. That means when the priority is high, he'll make a lot of damage to the enemy, but also decrease the armor in this round. The next, the enemy, the card, like the main card, has a 20% chance to give the enemy a random debuff. I think this could be a low. Maybe this one will have a 7. This one also maybe a 6. And this one also a 7, which will just change the source. The chosen card use... Okay, this is actually the same. But the difference is that this one is a passive. So let's say this one is a bit better than to just play the magic attack. Because it's like an addition to an active card. So for example, you play fast attack, quick attack. Or maybe it's decreasing. Let's say 5 or 4. It's just like a neutral card, neutral priority card. Oh, this is also interesting. It will just ignore the side effects of main cards. For example, here you got 100% damage on your own, but this will not happen because this one. And let's say here we have this and here we have this. These are actually the only two things, and this one is even a defense also. So there's actually just one card which has a negative effect. So at the moment it just makes sense to use this one. Okay, let's say 4. So let's see. This one is a very fast attack. Actually, quick attack should be always have a priority of 1. Swift attack maybe of 2. So 4 is medium. 1, this one is fast. Gather Rage. Well, let's say Gather Rage. Okay, it makes sense that it's fast. Because we want that in this moment the player is attacking fast. I just go back to the in-game and we just put this data to our table here. And we don't have the priority thing yet in our script. So we go to card resource and just right after cost, we just add a priority as an int. Can I somehow say it as a range? Like setting in max? Yeah. Let's do it this way. Resource table. Then we have now priority here. So, and we just sort them by category. When the category is defensive, we just mark all defensive cards onto here, and we just say here the priority is 1. Let's say, let's check now. This one is the blessing card, and blessing was 4. Swift attack 2. Risky attack 4. Quick attack should be 1. Piercing attack is a 4. Multi attack is a 6. Magic attack, I think it's a 7. But 7 is actually very bad, because that means that the normal attack of the player will be always the second. Always, no matter what. Except he put a secondary card, then a basic attack could be faster. But only then. So what I could do is... maybe 7 is fine, because when he put a card, it will lower the value, and this makes the card will increases in priority. And also the enemy should also have like basic attacks, which has also a priority of 7. So it's fine, I think. It's fine. So let's keep going. Gather Rage is 1. Focus is 4. Then we have Elemental Infusion, 7. Then we have Death Blow at 6. Then we have Critical Attack as 5. And also, these are not, I mean, this will probably not be the final stats of each card. We'll see when people testing this game, how it will be. I mean, if it's too high, if it's too bad, if there are cards which are too strong, or if there are cards which will be never used, everything like this will be tested. Also, the same counts for items. So, just a moment. Am I still live? I feel like I have internet problems. I'm not sure if I'm still there. But I hope so. Wait. Index 4 on a base object of type array card resource. I'm rethinking a few things about the battle. So for example, what is that? Invalid access of index 3 on a base object of type array card resource. So this is the drop. And actually I do drop it at the right point. Active slot card. Dot temp active placed cards, current slot index. Okay, I'm still live. Now I got this information on Twitch stream. Something happened. I hope I'm still there. Okay, it seems like I'm still there. It should be fine. So when the player... Okay, let's see 2D scene, battle scene. I want this one. Exactly this one. Here. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, somehow this way. I think from the layout it's fine. But now the question, thinking right now, if it's better, because so when the player is attacking the enemy and the enemy is attacking the player, and the player is not able to put like 3 rounds, will the enemy still attack the player with the full damage? The player won't be able to do anything just because you don't have enough cards. I'm not sure if this is the way to go. Hmm. Hmm. And to rethink the whole way how the game is be played, at least the fighting scene. Because right now we struggle with the point. What I mean, if the player will be able to see the enemy's cards before, and if yes, if the enemy would be able to change the tactic. I mean, he wouldn't be able to change the tactic. That means the player will play this card, and round two, 1, 2, 3 will be played, and the enemy just have to take it as the moment the player's doing it. Like the player will always have the um always see the enemy cards and can block and attack in a perfect order. So, for example, what is when the enemy plays a block card in the first round, the player could just say, "Okay, then I play also block card, then nothing will happen." And when he's just has no card anymore in the third round, the player will just place the strongest attack card here. In my opinion, and one round, which is this cards against this one, has to be always an attack and always a defense. Doesn't matter if you have an attack card here or defense card. If you don't put an attack card and just a defense card here, then maybe you will have just a basic attack. Hmm. Just thought I could finalize this one today, but we have to rethink the whole process in a fight. Okay, when I rethink this, and every attack, I mean every round will have an attack and a defense round. not an attack in the defense round, but will always have like player attacks the enemy and the enemy attacks the player. No matter if you place an active card here or passive, an offensive or defensive card here. Doesn't matter. You will attack the enemy and the enemy will attack you. This is somehow the only way how we could do. So let's play the first round. Player is playing, for example, this one and has double damage to the enemy. Then we'll check, okay, who has the higher priority. Let's say he plays this one or just a defensive card. Blocks 75% of the damage. Then the player, when he has the higher priority, will attack the enemy. He will block it and attack the player with a basic attack. I mean, he will block at least 75%. For example. And I'm thinking right now if the player is able to see what's happening here. And when the player doesn't have cards anymore, which he can't place here, he will do at least a basic attack. Without any buffs or cards, which will increase the basic attack. But he'll do at least a basic attack. I think this is the only way. Okay, so a round is heal, passive damage player, passive damage enemy. Or passive damage of this one who has the prior in the first round first. When will we have prior for passive damage? Who got prior on passive damage? Like, will did the player has to tank the passive damage first, or did the enemy has to tank the passive damage first? Is it up to the first card the player is playing, or is it up to all the cards the player is playing? So, for example, he plays 3 priority cards with like a priority of 1, and here also, so on average, he has a priority of 1. And when the enemy is playing like cards with an average of like 3, the enemy has to tank the passive damage first. I think this is the best way to do. I think this is the best way to do. think we have a system right now. So each round will be one attack. Like for example, this one is one round. This is round one, and these cards are fighting with these cards. That means we'll check first with the higher priority of these cards, and this one will attack first, which has the higher priority, and the lower priority will attack afterwards. So we start a round, then we'll check if the player has the higher agility, and if this is the case, the enemy will get the passive damage first, and then the player. This is something what I'll do now. I'll be right back. Be right back. Okay, so let's do it for the passive Shan, passive damage first. So actually, I need an if and else. If selected character dot values temp battle values, no temp player values dot get, which is speed. Speed is SPD. So get SPD higher than resource dot values dot get SPD. If it's higher of the player, then we'll do it. The player's higher. Wait, get tree. Dot create timer. Dot timeout. Let's say 1 second. On. Okay, I think this way will work. But right now I am the enemy, the spider. Tras has no debuffs, so we'll just add a few debuffs now. So this one, this, and this. Let's just start it. We start this one. The player gets damage first. Always. Because the speed is 0. The player has a value of speed of, let's say, 1. If this is bigger or equals, then the player will got this one, because we want that when the player has an equal amount of speed, then the player will win the fight. Okay, it's working now that the enemy always got the hit first when the player has a lower speed. Higher speed. Or, let's see, when he has the same, he should also win the fight. So let's see. We need a fight. Okay. But we want also that the player has the... No, let's see. What if we just put an await after? Get tree. Dot create timer. So that we always await a timer, so it will not just decrease at just one time, it will decrease over and over again. So let's see. So that we can always make it also like an animation or something, that the player is just poisoned and now bleeding, and this one is just poison and whatever. And I have to check in file loader that I feel like we don't have for every debuff a picture. So we don't have STD. We have STD, PS, and CSE. CDG. CSE, STD. I just sort them the way like we have here on the right side. And also, so we have BLD. BLD, BRN. CDG. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are debuffs. Icons for debuffs. As we are still missing some. Should see at least every now. Yes. Okay, seems alright. This one has, we just attack. Okay, this is nice. It looks even good. I think that it's just like after the time and not like all in one. Make it looks a bit more active. So the next thing is we want that the player... So after this passive things here, we'll do this one now. But I have to rename. So this one will be. Wait. Okay, this one is active passive cards controller enemy. Okay, we didn't use it, so it's fine. Enemy active cards. Enemy passive cards. Mm, okay. Now we want that the enemy will pick cards. So I just do it simple and give the enemy cards when I go to the spider resource. I'm not sure if he has a deck. Oh no, he didn't. So, but we can change it by. We have to put this one deck from here to here. So we have a deck here, but also he should also keep the deck. Well, we don't have cards anymore, which is a bit bad. So let's give him 10 cards. Just random cards. Okay, alright. Oh, we have 11 cards now, which is fine. And now we do the same for the spider deck. Active traits and passive traits. Where's the deck? Right here. Also give him random cards. Alright, so we have a deck for each. So now we need to have a system somehow where the player or the enemy is drawing cards, or at least playing cards. So now my thing is, will the enemy also have like a drawing card hand? Or will he just directly pick the cards from the deck to play? Okay, the enemy also needs a hand. Temp hand cards, and also this one. Temp hand cards, some active place cards, and tap passive cards. Okay, temp active place cards, temp passive place cards. So somehow the enemy Right now it's connect signals, set battle items probability, get current item resource, load battle data. And in load battle data we have calculate enemy temp all values, set enemy battle values, set avatars, set life progress, set value labels, set debuff, update deck label, and draw hand. But the draw hand thing we also need for the enemy. So let's see. Draw card while current hand size is max hand size. If temp deck dot size is smaller than 1, return. Enemy temp deck. Enemy temp deck. So let's see. Draw hands. We'll give a deck. So rather than temp deck, we'll say deck. This we'll do the whole way. Also here, deck. So let's see. Margin file loader card instantiate, Randy range. New card and not temp deck. Character resource, and we say character, which we'll also send through deck array character. Draw hands has the same name. Oh, I just need this part. Like this one. And here, rather than selected character, we will just say character.temp hand cards, append new card resource. Okay, it seems to be alright. Oh, hand cards a child. This part actually should just happen when it's the player. Enemy temp tag, temp player values, temp battle values with the hand. Max hand size. Temp tag. I would like to reuse this. We need a draw hand and a draw card function for the enemy. Wait for draw hand, true. Hmm. Here, I'll just put it here, I think. Draw hand. Enemy draw hand. Current hand size. Enemy. Time hand cards that size. Enemy temp deck. While current hand size is smaller than max hand size. And the player and the enemy life is this. We'll do this. If temp, we don't need the wait. Temp deck dot size. Draw a card. Current hand size. Update deck label. Nope. Enemy draw a card. Nope. New card int. Temp deck. Enemy temp deck. Start enemy resource. Dot temp and cards. Okay, enemy temp deck. Dot pop at. Here we need this. This one. Nope. And nope. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Start game. This one. This one. Okay, we don't draw hands. Okay, did I destroy something? Oh, here. Enemy. No, resource. Enemy resource. I think now it should work. Feel like, oh yeah. Enemy resource. This is when you just copy paste code. It will break something. Resource? Resource null. Ah, when do we set resource? Just thought it will be already set it. I just copied this one, then I set this one. And then we just go to this way. Has to be. Huh. Enemy temp deck dot pop add. Huh? Duplicate. So this one is not existing. And then enemy temp deck has cards. And the new card int is 9. Why the new card int is 9? Oh. Okay. Copy paste. Again. No error? Okay, where's enemy? Now we need to go temp hand. Hand is 0. Yeah? Ist 0. Temp hand cards. Enemy resource. Ah. Just have to check here if we have something inside this. Okay, we have cards inside this hand. Okay, the character has a deck now, but I also want that after the enemy is drawing cards, enemy play cards. Update hand cards, update placed cards. Here, player, hit, player, end round. Update placed cards, set round. I just check where I'll put it. Update hand cards, enemy draw hands. So this will be the most complicated part of the rules fighting, I think. Where the player, where the enemy is placing cards up to what card he has, where he has in his hand, and his hands is. They also need to match and also follow the rules, like this one of the player, that active cards has to be with with secondary cards, and also that offensive cards has to be with offensive cards and defensive cards with defensive. And it also needs to make sense, the way how he chooses, the way he have to play cards. So he needs to follow some logic he's creating on this, what he has in his hands. So he needs to prefer a few cards to be played than others, and so on. So he has to at least have some kind of intelligence. Okay, for this one, I need to invent. I mean, I have to program a whole system for the intelligence of the enemy. But I think this is something for next time. Yeah, I will go offline now. Thanks to everyone who was watching. Thank you very much. I hope. Yeah, I hope you like the game. And if you want to support it, you can just wishlist it already on Steam. It will support me and it will also support the game a lot. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.